welcome to World Now at 4. I am Aidan Lubem. First, let's talk the headlines. On the headlines, Tinubu wins APC presidential, reject £30 million Bayern Munich bid for Mane. And now the news in detail. National leader of the All Progressives Congress, that is APC, Bola Tinubu, has emerged as the winner of the party's president, including Chukwuemeka Nwajuiba, Tunde Bakari, Ahmed Rufai, Rochas Okorocha, Jack Reach, Ben Ayadi, David Umahi, Ahmed Yerima, Ahmed Lawan, Osinbajo, Amechi Yahaya, Bello, and Ogbonnaya Onu. Other 9 aspirants had earlier stepped down, 8 of whom asked their supporters to vote for Tinubu, while 1 asked his supporters to vote for Osinbajo. It was earlier reported that the selected members of the APC had gathered to choose the party's candidate for next year's election to replace President Muhammadu Buhari. Tinubu will face 75-year-old Atiku Abubakar of the opposition People's Democratic Party, among others, in the February 2025 presidential ballot. Meanwhile, top campaigner for Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, Richard Akinola, has congratulated Bola Tinubu on his expected victory in the presidential primary of the All Progressives Congress, that is the APC. Akinola, a lawyer and journalist, extended his wishes to the APC chieftain today in a statement posted on his social media page. The congratulatory message comes amid the sorting of votes cast by party delegates at the primary, which began on Tuesday and ran through the second day. Although organizers had yet to announce the winner of the contest for the APC presidential ticket at the time the statement was issued, data collated so far suggested that Tinubu, a former Lagos State governor, had taken the lead. Despite the presumed victory, Commission, that is INEC, has shown concern for the recent agitations following the extension of political parties' primary window. National Commissioner, INEC Information and Voter Education, Festus Okoye, revealed this during an exclusive interview with Boss FM 95.5 Abuja on their political and...
We understand what the Nigerian people are saying. We understand the concerns of the Nigerian people. And from my own understanding, the Nigerian people are saying, don't indulge the political parties anymore. Allow them to put their house in order. Allow them to do things in accordance with the rule of law and due process. That they are demanding for extension, they are demanding for a shift because some of them have not been very transparent in terms of their internal party dynamics. So that's exactly what happened. No ulterior motives. The commission did what we did with a
side the fate of the issue.
The cutoff period for us to know whether that target has been met or that projection is not realizable has not reached. Okay. That's one. Okay. Secondly, the voters' registration is still ongoing. So it is unfair to link the extension, 6-day extension granted to the political parties with a voters' registration that is still ongoing. The Independent National Electoral Commission started the voters' registration process in June 2021. We first of all rolled out the online registration, and then in July we rolled out the physical registration. From June 2021 to this period, it's over 11 months. From the time we started physical registration to now, it's almost 11 months. Sometimes our registration officers register 1 a day. We have a peculiar Nigerian problem, and we must, as a people and as a nation, address it. If a deadline is not 1 week away, we will not begin to do what is needful. Despite all this, we are going to have a meeting with our resident electoral commissioners.
On the Ekiti State governorship election slated for June 18, the commissioner revealed that INEC is ready to conduct the polls.
We are ready for the Ekiti governorship election. We met with the Council of Traditional Rulers. We met with all our electoral officers. We did a mock accreditation in 16 polling units cutting across the three senatorial districts. We met with the security agencies. We went round to 5 of our local government offices in Ekiti. And from what we have seen, all the non-sensitive materials required for the conduct of the election have gone to all the local governments, and the sensitive materials have already been batched to the registration areas. All the staff required, over 10,000 ad hoc staff, have all been trained. We've trained the supervisors.
Joint Action Committee of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions, NASU, has said no tangible achievement was recorded at the federal government renegotiation panel. Speaking in an interview with news correspondents on Tuesday, National Vice President, SSANU, Abdul Sabur Salam, said the panel met only once with the body since it was inaugurated on March 7, 2022. It was also reported that the committee, which was chaired by the Pro-Chancellor of the Alex Akweme Federal University, Ndufu Alike Nimi Briggs, was given 3 months to conclude the renegotiation with the 4 university unions and send the report to the federal government of Nigeria. The committee's timeline ended on Monday. It is believed that the committee will submit its reports to the federal government this week or get an extension. The strike started with a warning strike of 2 weeks, which commenced on March 27, 2021, while the extension of another 2 weeks commenced on Sunday, April 10, 2022. When we return, news from other parts of Africa. Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching World Now at 4 on Hills TV. Now to news from other parts of Africa. Cameroon's government said that a group of soldiers killed 9 villagers, including an 18-month girl. The authorities called the incident a manifest disproportionate and hasty response to a confrontation in the restive English-speaking part of the country. It was reported that 4 soldiers were searching for a missing comrade in the village of Misong, northwest Cameroon, when they came across a group of angry villagers, the Defense Ministry described as angry in a statement on June 1. Since 2017, a conflict is tearing apart Cameroon's northwest and southwest regions. The military and secessionist militants have both been accused of atrocities. Civilians caught in the grip of war are the first victims of the conflict. According to the International Crisis Group, the fighting has killed more than 6,000 people. And now to South Africa, where South Africa's former president, Jacob Zuma, has been given permission to privately prosecute Billy Downer, the lead prosecutor in his arms deal corruption trial. Zuma laid a criminal complaint against the lawyer for allegedly leaking his medical records to the press. The former president wants him to be removed from the arms deals case, accusing him of lacking independence and impartiality. The director of public prosecutions in KwaZulu-Natal province says there is not enough evidence to pursue the case against Mr. Downer, though Zuma can do so privately. The former president is facing charges of racketeering, corruption, money laundering, and fraud for allegedly accepting bribes from French arms company fails to secure lucrative defense contracts from the South African government. If he goes ahead with the private prosecutions, it needs to be instituted within 3 months. Zuma was released on medical parole nearly 2 months into his 15-month prison sentence for contempt of court in separate case last September. We now move to other parts of the world after this break. Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching World Now at 4 on Hills TV. Now to news from other parts of the world. A car driver drove into a group of people in central Berlin before smashing through a shop front, killing at least one person and injuring several others. At least one person was killed and a dozen others injured when a car drove into a group of people at a busy shopping district in central Berlin, according to police. The driver was briefly detained by passersby before being handed to police after the car smashed through a shop front today. According to police spokesman Thilo Katblies, at least one person was killed and a dozen others injured when a car drove into a group of people at a busy shopping district in central Berlin. According to police spokesman Thilo Katblies, the incident was devastating. A train carrying 348 passengers came off the line between the cities of Mashhad and Yazd, about 50 kilometers, that is 31 miles from Tabas. The deputy head of Iran's railways said the accident happened when the train hit an excavator near the track. Emergency services warned the third toll could rise because many of the injured were in critical condition. 5 of the train's 11 carriages were knocked off the line, Mehdi Valipur of the Iranian Red Crescent told the media. Now, incident, an investigator has been launched by the Tabas prosecutor to establish how the train came to strike the excavator. And now to Czech Republic. Czech Republic is considering an exit from China's 16+ investment platform for Central and Eastern Europe, that is CEE. The move could be a boost for the government's pledge to reassert Prague's Western orientation, but it also risks political and economic blowback from Beijing. A resolution calling for the country to quit the 16+ mechanism has been passed to the Czech Foreign Ministry and government after Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee unanimously approved it in mid-May. However, little has been delivered, prompting complaints that the promises of shiny new roads and bridges have become meetings and forums. Some Czech officials like to point out that investment flows from Taiwan are larger than those stemming from China. We now move to business report after this break. On business news, Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development Mohammed Abubakar has disclosed that Nigeria's cocoa, based on the frantic efforts of cocoa farmers, stakeholders and government, are making to galvanize the cocoa industry with the aim of occupying the top 3 positions, currently having Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana and Ecuador respectively. Meanwhile, the minister said there are moves to back up the NCMC with legislations by the National Assembly. Earlier, the executive director, ICCO, Arion Michel, commended the minister for his efforts to boost cocoa production. According to Michel, Africa produces about 80% of cocoa globally, but the price is determined in Europe, which he pointed that it means the UK will go from the second fastest growing economy in the G7 group of industrial nations to the slowest growing in 2020. And development is a group of countries which aims to assist economic development, raise living standards and promote growth in world trade. Lawrence Boone, the Paris-based think tank chief economist, said the UK was being hit hard by a combination of factors, including higher interest rates, higher taxes, reduced trade, and more expensive energy and food. A Treasury spokesperson said many people would be concerned by the forecast. Less developed countries in Europe and East Asia, the bank chief also warned that the World Bank global economic prospects reports for June that the danger of stagflation was considerable. Also on Tuesday, the World Bank approved $1.49 billion is part of a more than $4.4 billion support package for the country, which covers areas including healthcare, education, and sanitation. Still to come on World Now at 4 is sports. Don't go away.
Good evening and welcome to Sport News on World Now at 4. I am Richard Badung. Golden Eaglets head coach Nduka Ugbade is confident Ugbade's charges are among the 7 teams that, along with host Ghana and Togo. Ugbade, who has picked 20 players with 5 more players on standby after an intensive screening exercise at the FIFA Gold Project, Abuja, is in buoyant mood ahead of the competition. The 5-time world champions will open their campaign against host Ghana at the Cape Coast Stadium on Saturday. The 2 finalists from the competition will feature at the Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations in Algeria early next year. Away from Nigeria now, Liverpool have rejected a deal worth £30 million for Senegal forward Sadio Mane from Bayern Munich. The Reds have been left bemused after the German club returned with the offer after an initial bid reported to be worth up to £25 million was turned down. Liverpool is understood to want about €50 million worth £42.8 million for 30-year-old Sadio Mane, considering Bayern's similar valuation of 33-year-old Robert Lewandowski. Mane and Lewandowski both have 1 year remaining on their contract deals. Poland international Lewandowski wants a move to Barcelona this summer after a decade with Bayern. The Senegalese signed a contract extension with the club in 2018, which expires at the end of next season. On Wednesday, Liverpool was linked with a bid for 22-year-old Uruguayan and Benfica striker Darwin Núñez. Away from that now, desperate defending by Queensland Maroons secured a 16-10 win over New South Wales, their first in Sydney since 2017. Then Guy Maroons with Jack Whiting and Cameron Murray going over for the Blues. Cameron Monster, Carlin Ponga and Felice Kaufusi celebrates Queensland Maroons' victory, telling you that trial has opened in Switzerland against Sepp Blatter and Michel Platini once the chiefs of world and European football over a suspected fraudulent payment. Former FIFA President Blatter, 86, and Platini, 66, appeared on Wednesday in the Federal Criminal Court in the southern city of Bellinzona following an investigation that began in 2015 and lasted 6 years. The pair have been tried as dollars payments in 2011 to Platini, who was then in charge of European football's governing body, UEFA. The former French football great submitted to FIFA in 2011 an allegedly fictitious invoice for an alleged debt still existing for his activity as an advisor for FIFA in the years 1998 to 2002, according to the court. He had retired Swiss football administrator Blatter could face up to 5 years jail. Both have management, while Platini is accused of participating in those offences. To leave you with this, Minister for the team's first game in Abuja. Super Eagles of Nigeria will face Sierra Leone on Thursday in their first AFCON qualifying game for Cote d'Ivoire 2023. The game is expected to come in Abuja in a close encounter, and the Super Eagles will return to the floor, which they lost out the World Cup ticket to Ghana tomorrow. And that's your sport news on World Now at 4. Back to Ainan Luben for the rest of the news. I'm Richard.
On the Karu-Nyanya Expressway in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, about 11:15 a.m. And here is the report of an eyewitness. A total of 5 cars were involved in the accident. Most of the passengers were wounded. With the help of the Federal Road Safety Corps officer, the passengers were rushed to the Asokoro General Hospital. No death was recorded as at the time of filing this report. And that's your world now at